All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Iron Purpose podcast. I am joined by a couple family members here. One returning member, Jonas Boelter, and then my dad, Jason Boelter, making his Iron Purpose debut here, coming to chat with us tonight. Yeah, woo! Round of applause.
I actually had a call in one time, but I think it was a different podcast. Was that the?
That was the Dry Fire podcast.
Yeah,
and that would never saw the air.
That. Right. Good idea.
There you go. Yeah, you're just a little loud now, Jonas. And
You're the guy who controls.
We're good. We got it. We're good. Yes. So, what?
I was gonna say, he says, "Hop on the pod." I'm on my phone. He's like, "You're too loud." Wait, what do you want me to do about it?
Oh no, get one of these or something.
Use your inside voice. Your inside voice, Jonas.
I have a computer, but it's not compatible with your app.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
My MacBook, it doesn't. I need to update it or something. I don't know how it works.
You're probably not using. I think you got to do it in Chrome, because mine you have either Explorer or Chrome, and it doesn't. Work in one of those for whatever reason. I don't know how all that works. I'm just figuring it out as I go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you got to use your inside voice, like you're not playing kickball, which brings up another good point. So we were gonna record on Sunday. But then I found out it was the Vikings game because I was thinking it was Monday night for some reason, and then we're like, "Oh, we have kickball Monday night," and so here we are on a Tuesday when podcasts are normally come on around noon. But we're making it work, and kickball was worth it. It was a lot of fun. I was talking to Dad last night. I was like, "It's pretty cool how we're all, we're getting up there in age. I'm almost 30, and we still have our parents show up to sporting events and."
Yep.
Cheer us on. It's always a fun time. Like, I think every single game we've played, you've either been there or Dave and Jody have been there, or Mom has been there in some way. So it's been fun. It's been really cool to be out there and just the environment, hanging out with friends, having some friendly competition, a little competitiveness, and then go to Rob's afterwards. Shout out Rob, 9th Street Social Club. What?
Did I tell you what happened last night after you guys left?
I don't think so.
So everybody left, and it was just me, Jared, Amber, Jack, and Ethan, and we were attacking that $5 box pretty aggressively. And we pulled 300, so we're 35 up because there's 6 of us to win in. Win it again, lost our 15. Win it again, lost our 20. So we're even.
And then you realized your dad wasn't there, so you had to pay your own bill.
Yeah, very true, very true. But I was like, all right, so we're pretty much we're square right now. Let's go $60 into E-tabs. It was me, Jared, and Jack. And he's like, yeah, sounds good to me. So we put it in there, played it for 30, 45 minutes. And we got down to $15. And I said three $5 spins. You know what E-tabs are, like slots.
Yep.
And Jack hit it. Ding, 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 ding. Nope. Hit go. And the screen went black. You get an automatic bonus, and it hit all of them. $300. You're like, we're leaving.
There you go.
That was awesome. Yeah,
it was just the 3 of you then. So then you're up 100.
So we're up 60 on the night.
Heck yeah.
We're up 80, something like it. 60 or 80. I can't remember.
Up $1. That's a good night.
No.
No.
I mean, yeah, but you're like, oh, I got a measly $1. I can buy a stick of gum.
If that. Probably not even that.
Yeah. Maybe a gumball.
I've been hitting that quarter pusher pretty hard. That's my big gambling thing now.
What's that one?
They got it at Shep's and a lot of the different places. You got to drop
that one. Okay.
Push score. Well, the last time we went out, because we all start with $5, and you keep going around and around throughout the people. The first round, I was like, see how many you got. See how many you got. Dad got 13 his last one. Pocketed them all. Set a pocket full of change.
How much do you just put in a quarter and then it goes, or what?
Well, the winning
what's the buy-in?
Is to actually
$5.
Well,
$5.
You start with $5 each.
Yeah.
$5 each.
Oh, okay.
So then when that first person goes, he loads it up, and the best way to do it is just to load it up as much as you can, because you can stop the thing from moving back and forth. There's a little button up there. So then you stop it, and then you just stage all your quarters and try to get them not to land on top of each other. But stage them so that when you have one push, it just makes one big push. And then that's when you make the money.
But it's not quarters, right?
But I want a gold AK-47.
You what?
I want a gold AK-47. It's this big.
Out of one of those machines?
Gold colored.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, solid gold. Yeah, right.
Solid gold AK-47 out of machine.
So were you cleaning windows today, Dad?
Yes, I brought Noah in with me.
There you go.
So we did one house and then went over to the hockey arena, and he was working the outside doing the whole front main event area, and then I was inside on a lift, a scissor lift, and we
Just the
rocked
front
through.
part, or what all do you have to
Yeah,
do?
just the entryway. So it's like probably, I don't know, 40 feet or more tall. So we had the big pole out,
Mm-hmm.
and Noah was just out front working the front fascia, and then I was inside on a scissor lift, hitting
There you
them
go.
all, and yeah, we got through pretty quick.
Was that your post
Then I was
today? Or
going
was
to
that
take him
from
out
today?
I was going to take him out for lunch after, and I'm like, well, where do you want to go? Well, I was really thinking about Taco Bell. I'm like, oh, great. I haven't been to Taco Bell for like 5 years. And it'll probably be another 5 before I go back. It was nasty. Then we got done. He had 3 tacos, and I just had 2. And we're leaving. He's like, do you still have those sandwiches in the car? He says, I'm really hungry. I was thinking about maybe going back through the drive-thru again, but if you got one of those sandwiches, it'd be great. So he kept eating.
Okay.
What
I
an
don't know where it
idiot.
goes.
Yeah. The grown boy.
I
I had a hankering for any like buffet China food.
Chinese
food.
buffet. Yeah.
China
so I had
buffet.
to. Yep.
I texted Todd last week. I said I have a hankering for China buffet, Four Seasons, anything. He's like, go get it. I was like, it's not the same though, Todd. So no.
I haven't been there in a long time. We went to the new Drunken Noodle in town today. It's right next. It's like the same spot as that chicken rice that we went to. It's been a while now. Um,
So
it was
right next door
what?
to it.
Yeah, it's
Right
like the
next door.
same. Yeah, it's like the same building. You go through it, and like it's like connected, so people get food from both and sit and eat.
Gotcha.
It was all right. I got the chicken rice again. It was like a spicy chicken sandwich and a mac and cheese. It was really expensive though, but it was
Where are these
decent.
places?
Like downtown Brainerd by like Cocoa Moon,
Oh,
Right across from the
kind of like
Sage.
tucked
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. But Windows. That was that post that you posted today. Was that Noah? You and Noah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I shared it.
Yipper.
So if anybody
Thanks, I
out
saw
there
that,
wants
and I
their
actually got
windows
a call.
clean
Yeah, I actually got a text from that. So
from yours,
somebody used
your
to
post?
one of your former coworkers back in the day. It was her mom. I've done their windows before. She was working up in Lakeshore for a while or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So if anybody wants their windows clean, last minute, the season's wrapping up. Plug it. Yeah, what you got?
Yep.
Shoreview.
Got to be done before hunting season starts.
Well, it started actually last Saturday, Dad. But no.
I know, but mid October, that's when it really gets going.
When it gets
Cools off a
going.
bit.
Yeah, I haven't shot my bow in a while. Yeah, you can't really shoot anything right now, anyways. But it's 85 degrees. You literally gotta shoot it, and
You can.
And then
but
call
you-
Dad.
Yeah.
And then call Dad. Dad, I need your stuff. Can we come over?
you help me
Um,
find it.
No,
Yeah.
I did very well by myself last year, Dad. Thank you very much. I did use your stuff though.
Yeah, that's right. And then it bounced around the back of your truck for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yeah. then we
Before I got
lost
it back.
it.
Speaking of, I still have your
Yes.
vacuum. I gotta get you your
thank you.
shot back. Yeah.
Yeah. That was
You know,
bring it
going
last
for
night.
that. I was
You know,
going for
he-
that a couple days ago for something to clean something up. I'm like, where's that at?
Did Noah bring you his jigsaw this morning?
No. But I reminded him. And Andy came and took a couple more of my things. He took a air compressor and a little nail gun, and then an air line, of course. I said, there's one condition. You don't leave this outside, and you return it to me.
ASAP.
Like, before I ask you.
So he was building
I
an
can just see
office.
it. That's what he's working on, yeah. He's putting some ship lap or something up inside there on the walls and insulating it.
Oh yeah, I was
That's
gonna say, what's
his playhouse. He's turned it into his office.
Is that
Good
you
for
think
him.
you get like a mini split or like an AC unit in there?
Oh, I doubt it. He won't need it this time of year.
No.
The next few weeks will be cool enough. He's going to need a heater,
Mhm.
a fireplace.
You heard he got a job, Jonas, right?
I don't remember who told me, but yeah, somehow I found out.
Yeah, because you're not in that family group chat.
No, this has been a new one. I don't know how I got
Excommunicado.
Yeah,
Did you get excommunicado?
I did.
I think they made a new one, and they figured that you were still just living with mom, probably. And I don't think Ethan's in. Is Ethan in it? I don't know. Maybe they just
Yeah,
forgot you. They said you don't even look at it anyway, so they're probably just like, we don't want him in there. Well, you were wondering, you were asking me about Noah. You're like, did Noah, like, what's Noah get a new job? It's like, oh, you haven't heard
yeah,
any of
yeah.
this?
You're like, well, maybe if you reply the group chat. I was like, I'm not in it. I don't. I muted it, but I still look at them. I still like read them. I just don't reply. What are you gonna do? Huh?
You're
What
probably
are you
like
gonna
Todd
do?
one time. You just left the chat.
Every time you start a group chat,
Yep.
I'm surprised he didn't leave the last one that I started. You like
Todd has
start
left the chat.
immediately.
That's
Jonas, you
funny.
haven't replied about my merch drop. We'll get
Huh?
to that later. What?
Merch? No, I reposted
What
on
merch?
Instagram.
What? I did see that. Thank you. Yeah, I added you on that. Yeah, I guess that's another good, real quick plug. Got some merch. It's gonna be coming. I got pre-order out right now. So if you go on Facebook, Instagram, I think it's still on my Snapchat. Maybe it's not on my Snapchat, but I got some shirts, hoodies, and I got some new hats here coming pretty soon. But yeah, it's $15 for t-shirts and then 30 for the sweatshirts and the crew necks, which is not a bad price. I was kind of I was excited I was able to get it to that. So if you're interested, check those out. Be really cool to rep the brand. Dad put his order in, so much
I'll put my
appreciated.
order in on Friday when I'm no longer poor again for like 2 weeks.
Well, I thought you won $60 last night.
Yeah, but it's in cash form.
Oh, no cash accepted.
It hurts. It hurts more when I have cash. And if I hand you, so I can physically see it. If I just Venmo you, I'm like, doesn't hurt.
Oh, it's gone. Wasn't ever there in the first
Yeah,
place.
it wasn't there.
It's nice when your Venmo builds up after a while and you're like, oh, I have all this money to play with, but really it's just people paying you back. So like it was just you didn't make any money.
Yeah, no,
It was always just there.
yeah.
Uh yeah. Well, I'm glad we're able to talk and just kind of banter back and forth a little bit. It was kind of a crazy week this past week. One of the reasons why I don't have an episode posted for today yet is because I was scheduled to have one. I can't remember even what day that was. I think it was on
It was,
Thursday.
yeah.
Was it
I don't remember.
when Charlie was that Thursday or was it Friday? It was just kind of a blur. But
Oh,
I was supposed to record one and just Caden was sick and a lot was going on, and then that happened. I'm just like, nah, yeah, I'm not in the headspace, not really ready to talk about anything, especially like try to gather thoughts. And I've seen a whole lot of people post about the situation and the incident, and it's been a lot of people that don't normally post too. Like I've seen people put videos out on their opinion of it, and I think it's just because everybody feels affected by it in a way or connected to it in a way, or like they should say something because maybe it's what they believe or what they do. And maybe it was, maybe that's why it affected me in a way, because it's like this, it's kind of something that I'm trying to do, something that we're trying to do is be better people, help people out, like working in law enforcement. Like Dad, you were a cop for 20 some years, like always trying to help people out in that capacity and do something greater than yourself. And that was kind of like what Charlie Kirk stood up for, especially in his faith too. And when he's gunned down like that, it kind of makes me think, man, if it's my purpose and my goal to try to help other people out, and like this is the end goal, this is the result, it was just kind of really difficult to take for a little bit. And I'd messaged one of my friends a couple weeks ago in regards to a situation that happened at work, and I'm like, why does this stuff have to happen? We're trying to do good things and we get affected in this way. And she took a while to respond, and I'm thankful for it because I needed it now. I needed it more now than I did a couple days ago. But she said, I think when bad things like this happen, it's the enemy, it's Satan, it's whatever that enemy is in your life, trying to distract you from your purpose or trying to throw you off course. And I think especially with the Charlie Kirk situation, like the enemy was trying to silence him, and they were trying to take out his purpose, and I think it just multiplied it a million times fold.
Yeah, it kind of backfired on him.
It did. So it was kind of super inspiring to like hear that now. Like, okay, well, that's what adversity is in our lives. When something comes in there to try to, that really just gets us down. It's like, okay, what is this really doing? What is this? Is this a test, or is this the enemy trying to distract us from something greater that we're destined for, that we're trying to go towards, just trying to be a better person, trying to build a business, try to whatever it is, start a family, and you have all this adversity and So, well, maybe it's the enemy trying to prevent me from doing these things and making me not believe in myself. So it's cool how a lot of people can come together in solidarity when something so awful happens. And I think you pointed out, Dad, on Facebook, like this is this generation's 9/11. I think a long time from now or moving into the future, even when I'm in my 80s, 90s, I think I'll be able to look back and remember, where were you when, Charlie
For sure.
killed. Like I'll probably never forget that and how it felt. Um, and we were all kind of affected by it differently. I know Jonas, if you want to just kind of talk about whatever your kind of experience, we kind of text back and forth a little bit on that day. Like, why do you think it affected us the way that it did? Have you thought about it at all?
Like in the moment, like when I was working on a roof and I got down, like take a little break, get water, and like I looked at my phone and like had like 30 text messages from the group chat, and then Ben like looked at me and he's like, Charlie Kirk just got shot, and I was like, what? Like yeah, like okay, you're lying. And I looked at my phone, and I was like holy crap, and it was like the far away video, and then we had the close up video had been sent to the group chat, and I just felt like, I just got like pale, my soul left my body. And like I've seen a lot of videos of like people talking about it. And they're like, I've never met Charlie Kirk ever. And it's like, why do you feel that way? I couldn't explain it. I tried talking, like we texted back and forth, but I was like, I don't have any words. Like I can't talk right now. I can't do anything. Like I got left work, got to mom's to do some flooring and just like broke down and bawled for like 45 minutes. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, like what is going on here? And it's like, yeah, like I did like look up to him. I'd watched all his videos or watched snippets of it, and he's super influential in like my life as a young adult and being a good example for like Christian men and women. But like, and I saw another video. It's like you did lose somebody. You lost a brother in Christ, which hit me harder. And I was like, geez, yeah, you're right. And then and then it like makes me look back and I'm like, Charlie got killed for his faith and for his opinions that people didn't like. And I was like, would I be if I got like assassinated, if I got killed, would I be remembered for my faith? And I was like, that sucks to look back on and like look at your life and you're like, maybe I haven't been living the way I should be, doing the things I should be doing. And it kind of challenged me a lot to like, all right, these are some things I should change or work towards.
Turning point.
The turning point, yeah, yeah.
And that was his whole company and everything. So yeah, that's crazy for you as a young man to come to that conclusion based off of somebody that we didn't even know passing away in a
Hmm.
very, very awful way. And I think a lot of people have been affected by it in that same way. Like, there's people over in like all over the world. I've seen people like doing marches, doing vigils, and I saw one in New Zealand, that the haka dance that they do. I don't know if you are familiar with that, but when they slap their knees and like go all crazy, like they had signs of him holding him up, like, which makes me wonder like why these like other countries are so impacted by a man that was very heavily involved in politics within the United States.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like,
and
does
like
that
the
make
whole
sense?
entire
Well, I think
streets of
for
like London were shut down. Like, have you
Right.
seen the aerial video pictures of that? Like London, it was
Mm-hmm.
just people everywhere for Charlie, which was insane. Go ahead, Dad.
well, I think speaking as your father, being an older guy, he was obviously closer in age to you guys, but
Hmm.
I'd followed a few of his videos here and there, kind of saw him as an up and comer. But just kind of watching what he was doing. I didn't sit there and watch a 20-minute video or an hour-long video, but just watching him interact with people. As he started out being kind of like in the lion's den, just all these people around him hating him, just there to rail on him and try to shut him down, and then see that progress to how he was currently or recently, where he had all this massing of followers, that were coming to actually support him, and then having fewer demonstrators against him. But I think the social media thing was what makes it so. It hurts so many people nowadays because they've seen him on social media. When I was growing up, I didn't have that. I'd
Mm-hmm.
have if something. If I probably didn't really feel real impact. I remember Ronald Reagan getting shot, and I saw that on the news, but I couldn't sit there and stream it on my phone and watch it again and again and again. And then every time I pick up my phone, I'm seeing it on my news feeds. I mean, that just wasn't, it just didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays people they're seeing it all over the world. They're seeing it in every part of the world. And I think for them, they've probably been following him just because they don't have the freedom that like we do to express our opinions without real, fear of what we say. Obviously, we're not supposed to threaten people, terroristic threats, those kind of things. But you can speak your piece. You can say, hey, I don't like Charlie Kirk. Or you could even say, hey, I wish he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't say, let's kill him, let's go here, let's do this. But
right.
And in other countries, when they start spewing stuff like that, they can be arrested, they can be charged. Mm-hmm. So I think they're probably jealous of us and the freedom that we have, and admired him for his ability to speak the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure that's why it's impacting people so hard, because here's a guy that they're, like you said, maybe they didn't follow him real closely like I did either. But when you realize what happened, this guy who's just speaking the truth, he's speaking his truth. He's speaking a truth that probably all three of us believe in, 99.9%. There's a few things that pop up and you're like, I don't know if I really believe that. And you start thinking about it and you're like, that really does make good sense, what he's talking about.
Right.
And, he sparked that conversation, got you thinking. That was his whole goal. So I think people admired him for that. And when they saw him gunned down for no reason whatsoever, it hurt everybody. I mean, I was sitting there watching it just going, what is going on? I don't get this. And I was tearing up. And then you see all these videos that pop up, these tributes, or you start seeing stuff that he was talking about, almost prophesying his own death. The way that people would ask him questions like, what would you do if you only had 30 seconds to live? Mm-hmm. And, he'd be like, I'd think about my faith. I'd think about my relationship with God. Boom, he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder what went through his mind. Did he have any time to think about that? Probably not. When we watched that video, I watched it a couple times and it was like, okay, I've seen it enough.
Now, the interesting thing is, like, it took him a little bit to let go of the microphone too. And that, like, really hit me hard too. Like, watching him still hold on to the microphone, like, as if he wanted us to see, like, and then, like, almost pass it off. Like, I watched it far too many times as well. I watched it a couple times and went, I gotta stop. Initially you look it up to see how bad it is. I just got home. I was gonna take a nap. Caden had been sick, so I was like, I need to just take a nap. And I sit on the couch and I open it up and I see that it says prayers for Charlie. I'm like, oh, what happened? Looking it up, he got shot. Okay, how bad is it? It's like when Trump got shot. It's like how bad? What does that even mean? And thank God it wasn't too bad for him. But you look up the video and you're like, oh man, yeah, that's rough. It's interesting to watch these videos and these different tributes that are coming out, and I was having a tough time with it. And then I saw one where it was showing him sitting there and he was doing the picture like this. Mm-hmm. And God's Country by Blake Shelton was attached to the video, and it was just like right at the height of that song, and in the background, I think it was like DC Drano that posted it, but it was like, yeah, they think they silenced him, but they've just created a million more Charlie Kirks. So it's just like, oh my gosh. And
that's a picture that smoked me.
I brought Caden upstairs and handed it off to Courtney. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, nope, I'm not. I'll be downstairs. And I just had to step out for a little bit. And it's crazy how much it impacts. Like you said, we don't know the guy. I've watched a couple clips of him, but when you really think about what he stood for, and you talked about his truth, he was speaking his truth, and that's what ended up getting him killed. And I watched a video of him talking about how important it is to have that, your truth, your deeper truth. I think that's how he put it. Hold on, I'm about to sneeze.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
It's okay, I can edit that out.
Well, I got kind of moved just watching, how the people that broadcasters or musicians who you've never really heard about their faith suddenly being brave enough to talk about it. I was watching this interview with Tyrus. I always watch Gutfeld, and he's the big guy on there, and he was just like, it shook me. He said, I didn't believe in what Charlie was doing. I didn't think you should talk, because you're talking about faith, you're talking about gender, and you're talking about politics. He says all these are death sentences. And he said the thing that shook me the most is that I don't understand the faith part of it. I don't think he's come out and said, "Hey, I'm an atheist," but he just doesn't really believe in. And you could tell he was emotional. He's like, I want something like that. If you're willing to die for something like that, he'd always talk about his family and God, but it's God was always first in his life, evident. So to see like people like that kind of get shook up, and a lot of people I've talked to all kind of feel the same way. It kind of makes you question your faith and how a guy that's 31 years old can impact people so much while he's alive, but how it's going to impact the future is going to be crazy.
And I've seen these videos too, like it shows him, and like it was like AI generated, but it shows him in his last moments like answering a question and talking on the mic, and all of a sudden like his whole perspective changes, and he kind of stands up and turns and walks, starts to go up the stairs to heaven, and Jesus is up there. That's like, oh man, like that was his perspective. Like we said, it was probably pretty quick, and he was just like, whoa, okay. And another thing that absolutely blew my mind was, the person who did this horrific thing, if he finds Jesus at some point from now to the point where he meets death, he's gonna go to the gates of heaven, and probably the first person that'll be there to welcome him with open arms is Charlie Kirk. He'll probably give him a big hug and say, "Welcome home, brother." The guy that ended his life. Like, I'm getting insane goosebumps. But like, if that's not the grace of God, like, absolutely bananas to think about.
The way that people demonize him and have such a rage and hate towards him, I think if they'd only realize he doesn't hate them for what they're doing. All he wanted to do is help them see things in a different perspective. Not out of real judgment, but just out of, hey, I just want you to encourage you and challenge you for, whatever that might be, whether you're thinking about having an abortion or whether you're in a, relationship you shouldn't be in or something along those lines. He just wanted to challenge you on your thoughts and your beliefs and move you in the right direction. He wasn't forcing anybody to do that.
Right.
He came there and sat down on a table and just gave you the mic, and they would come to him. It wasn't like he was trying to search people down and stir up trouble. They came to him, right, and then they'd pick a fight with him, but yet he was the bad guy for just sitting there.
Yeah, I saw this thing that said he didn't have hate speech, or I think that's how he worded it, like hate speech. Like he didn't have hate speech. They just hated his words. Like he didn't have that hateful. He just wanted to make you think about what you were, the choices you had, or that opinion that you had. And that's the thing. Like, people, they get so upset about other people's opinions, as if like it's like they just get way too offended. I can think of like, and I thought of this like growing up. I remember like in youth group way back in the day, like in middle school. I remember some of the girls that were in there were like rating some of the guys based off of how they looked, and like, oh yeah, he's a 10. And I remember like I was towards the bottom. I was like a 2 or a 3, and like I was just like, what the heck? I took offense to that, but like looking back, obviously I was just a kid, but like I held like their words became my truth, and I identified with it. And I think that's what a lot of people did to Charlie, is he had these things and they took those words as truth, and they're like, well, this guy, he thinks I'm this or that, and they identified with it, when in reality, like, there's a lot of good things that come from the diversity of opinions. One, if you don't like the channel, like, just change it. Right. If you don't like the music that's playing on your radio, just change it, find a different song. Like, you don't have to be so offended by it.
If you don't like what I'm posting on my Facebook page, then just move on to another page.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think and I think that differing opinion is really healthy. I mean, sometimes it can be a little annoying, especially around election time and stuff. Like, you hear all the opposing sides and stuff you don't really agree with, and maybe there are a few people that you do block or unfriend, but I've caught myself a couple times going, if I'm only subscribed to everything that I believe and I want to see, like, what, how is there any growth? I think when you do see that opinion and you are challenged by that person's perspective, it makes you kind of look and reflect on your own self and go, no, I'm good. Like, okay, I still believe what I believe, because it goes back to that deeper truth that, Charlie was talking about. It's everybody's going to have an opinion, and when you are only subscribing to the thing that you want to see and that you want to believe, I think it's good to have that diversity. It's good to mix it up a little bit and help challenge what you think and have those other perspectives. And I guess I could speak on this, working in the jail and being in the impact program. I see a lot of different people that come in there from different walks of life, different races, different backgrounds, and we're all trying to get through life. We're all trying to experience different things, and it's important to get other people's perspectives because they may have a different view on a certain topic or a certain belief. And I think that's exactly what Charlie was doing too. Other people would come up and they try to challenge him by offering a different perspective or opinion, and he would mainly hit him with facts, which was crazy how quickly he could just rattle some stuff off and pull it out of nowhere. He's a very intelligent human being. But I think it is important to be able to disagree and be okay with it.
That's the hard part, because you get instantly, kind of, for me anyways, I get pissed. And then it takes me a while to, figure out why I'm pissed. But it also encourages you to try to really know what your convictions are, so that when those conversations do come up, you got a good argument for it, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just going, I'm pissed. Well, why are you pissed? I'm pissed because you said this, and this is what I believe. And yeah, I agree with you. My news feeds are all kind of pretty much same stuff, and
right.
Every once in a while I'll pop onto another news channel just to see what they're talking about. And usually when I do that, it takes me a couple minutes, and I'm pissed off, and I'm back over to where I was before,
which is totally fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
totally
saying
ignoring something, or I'm just like, oh boy.
Insert the Grinch meme. Almost lost my cool.
Yes. Renee will be like, you got to shut the news off. You're just getting pissed, You're just sitting there watching the news all day long. Especially around election time, you're just going.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And I think that's what happens is people don't want to have that debate. They want to just get upset when they disagree. And then all of a sudden they start name calling. And it's like, okay, what are we actually doing here? Like, what?
Well, that's the dangerous thing I think about social media these days. And that's why probably this kid, who apparently grew up in a conservative family with a father who was in law enforcement, probably grew up in a church setting. How dangerous social media can be, because when you sit there and you bombard yourself with garbage all day long, and you're getting that one track, well, suddenly everything you believed and was important to you is turned upside down, and now you're killing somebody for it.
Mm.
So it's social media can be cool because you can see things instantly, but can be so dangerous at the same time.
I think it's just so distracting too, and how I think it's a lot more influential than a lot of people realize. How it came out, and this hasn't been around for all that long. It's within the past 15 years, maybe. I don't know when Facebook came out, but how quickly people can get their lives intertwined by it, and how easy it is to just be desensitized to stuff. Like the video that we all saw, we shouldn't be able to just look that up on TikTok. I think of all the kids who have TikTok and how they can just see that and be like, whoa, and comment on it, and as if it's not real life.
Did you see what she told her daughter when she came home after her dress?
Mm-hmm.
Or went after the night? He's going to he went to heaven to see Jesus so he could pay for your blueberry budget.
Yeah, the business trip.
Now, did you see that the farmers are sending them an ungodly amount of blueberries?
No, that's crazy.
They said she'll never have to buy blueberries again in their lifetime.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's interesting how it can be so relatable, like how we can relate to a situation like that and reflect on it, and how we can hopefully hopefully take that and switch around in our lives and go, okay, maybe this isn't so bad. Maybe what I'm going through isn't so bad. Recently I've been talking about minor conveniences rather than minor inconveniences, because we always talk about being inconveniently, these minor inconveniences that happen. And I was going to the gym and went into the locker room, and normally you go through 6 lockers to see which ones are open, locked. Okay, there's stuff in that one. And then finally you find one that's open. I walked in there one day, opened a locker room. The first one that was open, it was, oh, sweet. Okay, perfect. I took a second to recognize. What's that?
First try, dude. What?
The first.
and you always go to the same number too, and try my same number every time. packed in here. No one took my locker.
And the other day I went to Costco, got all my stuff. It was crazy in there. By the time I got to go check out, there was no line. It went right up to the checkout. Perfect. It was like, oh wow. So I've been trying to focus on more of minor conveniences rather than the minor inconveniences, because it's super easy to get wrapped up in the negativity of life. And before you know it, you're sitting on the couch, having a drink, going, "Man, this day really sucked." And then you're like, "Okay, wait, why did it really suck?"
Yeah. I hit a red light. I cut my finger.
I
It
stubbed my
really wasn't
toe.
that bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it really puts a lot of into perspective, and like I may be having a bad day, but this didn't happen to me. Like at least I still get to come home to my family, or I come home and I'm like tired from the day, and my dogs are jumping up on me because they're so excited, and I'm like kicking them down, getting upset, get off me, when they're like super excited to see me. They're happy to see me. They're dogs,
Because
and I
that's
might
their
yell
best
at
part of
them,
their day. Yeah.
and that's the best part of their day. And it's just different little things, and from the little things to even the big things. I talked about it here before. I got punched in the face at work a couple weeks ago, and that sucked. Like mentally, like it was just a lot. And I was like, why would this happen? Like, what was God's plan with this? And it's like, well, maybe it wasn't part of God's plan. It was the enemy trying to distract you from your purpose, distract you from that plan that God has for you. So like, if whoever's listening, if you're really going through a deep, difficult time, one, reach out to somebody. There's a lot of people out there that can help out. But understand that maybe there's something that you are doing or that you are going to do that the enemy is trying to distract you from or to silence you from. Just like this awful thing that happened this past week. That guy, the kid, thought he was going to end this. He thought he was going to silence Charlie Kirk, and we know the result. Like we talked about, there's places all around the world that are recognizing it and letting their voices be heard, and making a positive impact in a way that I don't think we'd ever be able to see. And it's crazy. I remember what I was talking about earlier. You had talked about the different little clips on social media, and how beforehand it kind of was just kind of funny how he almost was like predicting it. Like, does he kind of know this is going to happen? And not in like a conspiracy theorist way, but like, did he kind of feel like something was going to happen? And that morning I woke up, and I had just seen a video of the young girl that got stabbed on that subway. And I was like, again, why is this on TikTok? Like, why can I see this girl getting brutally stabbed? And her reaction of just the fear in her eyes after this guy stands up, gets her a couple times. She like looks up in terror, and then slowly her life kind of just fades away. And I was driving to the gym. It was really foggy, and I was just like upset. And I made a couple videos to send to some of the guys just to vent about it. And not too much longer after that, Charlie, that happens to Charlie. And so there's this kind of just a awful couple events that happened right in a row. Looking back on Charlie's social media, like 2 hours prior to him getting shot, he posted a picture of that young girl that had just got stabbed, and the caption was, "America will never be the same." I'm like, he could have never known.
You got no idea. Yep.
You had no idea.
That's nothing. That's nothing. Just wait. Something I have a hard time wrapping my brain around is, you always talk about God's plan for you, or did God plan this, or why did he allow this to happen? Why does he allow that young girl to die in the subway? Why does he allow Charlie Kirk to die? And I think it all comes back to me from I think God gives us free will to make decisions. What we want to do. Does God know how everything is going to proceed? I think so. I think he knows the plans. How everything is laid out. But I think he still gives people free will. So this assassin, he could have chose at any time to not carry out this plan. And Charlie could have, at any time in his life, decided to fumble and fall and make bad decisions and never reach the position he's at either. So it's really weird to try to wrap your brain around that. What was this God's plan, or was this God allowing free will to happen? But yet he still knows what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's something that I've struggled with too. Like even the small things in my life is like, how could this be God's plan? And maybe it wasn't, and it turns out to be, better. But I think you nailed it on the head with that free will. Like he doesn't force us to have a relationship with him. He's not going to stop. I think a lot of these evil people are products of just awful decisions or missing different things. Like this kid, he was probably grown up in a home that was great, but that kid made the choice to subscribe to this social media or to decide to date this person who doesn't know who or what they are. And, all of a sudden he ends up over here. And, if God intervenes in that, he's intervening with the free will, for those people to make their own choices and do what
Right.
they want to do. And I don't think it was God's plan. And it is tough to wrap your head around to think, but he might know that it's going to happen. So couldn't you send like a hint my way, before I crash my car? But as you were saying that, I just pulled up a verse. I don't know if this is the one that I meant to, Genesis 50:20. But as for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass that it is today, to save much people alive. I don't know if that's the one I was thinking about, but there was some verse, but it's like what the enemy meant for evil, God will turn into good. Right along those lines, I think it's really cool how, after the whole incident occurred, people didn't go out and riot in the streets. Like there wasn't burnings or buildings being burnt down and protests and death threats and stuff. It was the verse that I kept thinking of was Romans 12:21, which is be not overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And I think that's exactly what's happening. I think that's exactly what Charlie would have tried to do. Kill him with kindness kind of thing. And I think it's like another calling as men to stand up for people who aren't able to stand up for themselves. Like be the protector for the weak, fight for the vulnerable, and show goodness in that way. Stand up for people like that. And, it all goes back to being like little kids. Like don't let, we don't put up with bullies. Like nobody likes bullies. And, essentially that's what these people are. They're bullies trying to take things away from us, trying to take away the lives of other people and affect us in awful ways. Like we got to be ready, whether that's reading up on just trying to better ourselves every day, just in case something may come, protect our families and those around us from these bullies. But
I think common sense has kind of went out the window here in the last 4 or 5 years. When you're talking about bullies, and we're not going to put up with bullies, but yeah, for the last 4 or 5 years, if you were bullied by somebody, well, you can't fight back, because if you do, you're going to get suspended from school, or you're going to get charged with a crime, or you're going to end up like Michael Tenpenny, who tried to protect those people on the subway.
Oh, that's right.
And ended up being, going to trial for murder by this lynch mob. Unfortunately, he wasn't. But I'm hoping there'll be a swing back to some common sense where, you want to have faith in humanity and hope that people who make bad decisions can get turned around and find that good in their lives and get the help they need. But at the same time, it's like you can't allow people to just be beaten down and murdered in a subway or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there has to be an accountability for actions at the same time as can we forgive these people? Should we forgive these people? You can, if that's what you choose, I suppose, but you can't, like Dad said, you can't go murder people and get away with it.
Mm-hmm. You were talking about free choice earlier. You have that free will to make those decisions. This guy had a decision on the subway to whether it's you got the mental illness or what, but he chose to slash this girl's throat for whatever reason. But he didn't have to. This kid who killed Charlie, he had a choice, and he went through a lot of steps to get there. There was a lot of planning to make that happen. Fortunately, they were able to get him, to find him. I was a little concerned that this, that wasn't going to have the right outcome, because if they didn't have the right evidence or didn't have people that were, the video surveillance or whatever, he could have easily just disappeared if he had been a little bit smarter about it. But so yeah, there needs to be accountability in all those situations for any of your actions that are dumb. There's accountability.
And it's tough because there's that line
somewhere else.
Right. Exactly. And it's tough because it's like, where is that line? Like, how invested do I get into this? Like, how invested do I dive into, like, okay, we got to hold these people accountable. What should I do? And, where is that line of doing that and just putting my phone away and just enjoying the moment, because you think about all this stuff and how it gets you angry, like gets your blood boiling. And it's like, how much time do I want to invest in this when I should just, maybe I should just put it away and just think about my family for a little while. Like maybe if everybody just, it's just, I wish everybody had something like that where they just had an escape where they could just go be with somebody they loved, go watch a sunset somewhere, go enjoy a concert. Like, why do we got to get to the point where we feel like we got to just start doing awful, horrific things to people? And maybe it is social media. Maybe it is all these, video games and stuff that are just making kids think they can do that. And, maybe it's like you said, it's people got to be held accountable, and maybe it's the parents of these kids, checking in on them, like asking them if they're okay. Maybe it's their friends. This, okay, Johnny's getting kind of weird, or Johnny seems like he's really struggling, or he's just not himself. Maybe I should help him out. Like, and I guess maybe that's a challenge for myself, or for anybody that's listening. Like, if you think that somebody's really struggling in their life, or they're starting to go down a path that you're a little worried about or afraid of, like, I think there's some accountability on you too to be there for them. It's like it's like little buddy in Mankato when we were there for the Kip Moore concert. All his friends just left him, and he was laying in the grass.
What was his name?
Nick.
Was it Nick? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
shout out Nick.
Shout out Nick.
Yeah, we're there for a concert, and he's walking at us, and then into the ditch, and we're like, all right. I was ready to just leave him because he started cussing at us and trying to swing, but he ended up back at the little local watering hole, and none of his friends are anywhere to be found. And I think it's important. We got to watch out for each other, even little Nick.
Even the idiots of the world. Yeah. Well, getting back to accountability, or helping out your children. Like, speaking as a father, there's really only so much you could do along the way. Raise you guys up, and you get to that point where, up till 16, 15, 16. You hung on to Dad's every word. You listened to what he said. He was your hero, hopefully. And then there gets to be that point in your life where you start making your own decisions. And I'm like, hey, Jonas, maybe you want to do this or do that. And you're like, yeah, quit telling me, Dad. I'll do that. I'll get it.
Oh, I know.
Yep. So you're like, okay, well, I guess, to try. I'm just trying to help you not go through some of those same stupid things I did. I'm trying to help you get past these speed bumps in life and avoid them. But at the same time, a person has to make their own decisions, their own free will, and maybe they want to hit a few of those speed bumps along the way. And I kind of feel bad for this family of this kid too, because they raised him up, I think, the right way. And then as a father, you're like, okay, now he's in a relationship with somebody else, a guy or whatever, and probably wasn't the way he wanted it to go, but he was like, okay, well, what can I do? I have to just pray for him and love him, and hopefully he'll figure things out and he'll be in a place where he wants to be. But it didn't work out that way. You always think you have more time. I always think about that with my own dad. I'm like, I need to spend more time with him. You get caught up in your own things, your own projects, your work, your own family. I'll get grandkids, and it's like, but there's no infinite amount of time, and it's like, well, there isn't a definite amount of time, but you don't know when that's going to be.
Right.
You got to seize those moments. And I'm sure my dad's always thinking too. Your grandpa's thinking, I wish Jason would make better decisions. I wish he'd listen to me. I wish he'd do the same thing I do with you guys.
And I'm already thinking the same thing about Caden. Yeah.
Yep. You got to quit pooping your pants.
I did that once. And it sucked.
You're gonna get a rash. Stop it.
That's a good perspective too. I mean, going back to Charlie, he was 31 years old, and he had a lot of life to live, and he probably had no idea how quickly it would be taken. And quite honestly, none of us know that. Anything can happen at any given moment, and it's life is fragile, and it's only when you start thinking about it a little bit, it kind of freaks you out, like knowing that you're that much closer to maybe losing family members of old age or whatever it is. And it's like, all right, I gotta, it's okay to live in the moment. Like, let's just soak it up and live in the moment and not be so afraid about what other people think about us. Maybe you want to go do something and you're nervous about it. Like, oh man, I don't know if I should do this. Like, just do it. Like, go have fun. Go drive up to your grandparents and go see them. And you don't know how long you're going to have that. And it's important to, you may think it's an inconvenience, but it's not. Like, it's important to.
Yeah, that 5 or 10 minutes is probably the 5 or 10 minutes that's the most important, fun part of her day too.
Right. And I even think of like Caden. Go ahead.
other than the blue whippoorwill like flying into the bird feeder or something that she gets to see. That'd be really cool, but having him stop by and see her was probably
Might be
the
a little
highlight of the
different.
day. Yeah.
Or like same thing, like Caden, like when he was, obviously he's a baby, but like if I had to change him, or like waking up the past couple nights because he's been sick, like going in there and he's just been like crying, and like my very first thought, and part of me wants to say like shame on you for even thinking this, but it's like, oh, like why is he crying? I just want to sleep. Like it's such a selfish thought, but like when he's crying out, like he's probably saying, Dad, I need help. I can't breathe. My nose is plugged up. Can you come help me out? Like if he could talk, he'd probably be saying that. So when I'm in there and I'm sleeping, I'm thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna get any sleep tonight. It's like I'm helping him out, or like, changing his diaper. It can be gross, might get peed or pooped on, but like spending time with him, and that's, we think about all those different things throughout the day, and I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I'm just so exhausted. And then like if you were to talk to Kate, and he'd be like, oh, I got to spend the whole day with my dad. It was awesome. He changed my diaper. We got to go play outside. He got the boogers out of my nose. We threw the ball for the dog. We got to go on a walk, and the whole time I'm like trying to pull the dogs back, and I'm just cussing under my breath, and it's like, with the whole Charlie thing, and just all the stuff we talked about, wrapping it up, I think is just like, soak in the moments. Like, don't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in, and enjoy like the small things, even the minor conveniences of life. Like, because even the inconveniences of life, you stub your toe or something, you're like, mother, all right, at least I got a toe to stub. I at least I have a house, I have a countertop that I smashed my toe into. At least I have one of these. There's people that don't. So it's all about perspective, and sharing perspectives too. Like that's what I'm trying to do with this podcast is, as iron sharpens iron, one person sharpens another. And I don't think that happens just by staying in our own little comfort zones, and not being afraid to get out there and share our opinions with other people, and our faith too. Like it can be tough sometimes. And I've thought about that a bunch, like why it is difficult to like try to share our faith and talk about Jesus. Sometimes it can be a little intimidating to some people. Like, why does it feel this way? Like, I think they're going to think something weird about me, like I'm some like, Jesus freak. And it goes back to, I can't remember, was that DC Talk that has that song, Jesus Freak? I'd have to pull that one back out. I don't care what they say. If they label me, you can label me a Jesus freak or something, like they're okay with it. And that's essentially what Charlie was. And I think he inspired a lot of people to tap into that as well. And I saw a country music artist. I think he had a MAGA hat on, and he was like tearing up, and he's like, this is the first time I've wore it out in public. I've been ashamed. Like, I've been afraid of what people were going to think about me, but now I'm like finally not afraid to stand up for what I believe in, especially the words, make America great again. Like like who doesn't want that? And I think I think we just have to continue to come together like we did after 9/11, then 9/12, like after tragedy, people came together and rallied. We got to figure out a way to keep that going, that momentum, because you let it die, you forget about it, and it was just a waste. So it's cool to see even Charlie's wife say how she, will never ever forget his name for for more reasons than one, but just bringing so many people together through conversation, and that's what we're continuing to do here, or trying to do. Well, I guess with that we'll kind of wrap it up, and just I guess leave it with the challenge. Try to find ways, I think, throughout the week, and myself included. Like I said, I like to challenge myself along with this. I don't claim to be an expert at any of this stuff, but just another man trying to figure out life just like anybody else. But try to find those minor conveniences in your weeks. Try to be thankful for the little things, and when you are in the middle of something difficult, going through a difficult time, try to think maybe what is, maybe it is the enemy trying to keep you from the thing you're trying to do, trying to keep you from your purpose, trying to keep you from that courageous pursuit of whatever your purpose is. And when somebody mentioned one of the biggest things that Charlie brought was courage, and the definition of courage is the ability to do something that frightens you. And that's just like, standing up to the bullies. That's getting out of your comfort zone. Maybe whatever that frightening thing is just something you don't want to do. Maybe it's you don't want to pick up the book. You don't want to pick up the Bible. You don't want to go to that church. You don't want to go to that gym. Whatever it is, whatever is keeping you keeping you down or keeping you back. I think it's important to think about those things. Where is an opportunity that I can be courageous in my life? And that's something that I'm going to try to do this week and the following weeks. And, try to just let the message of Charlie keep going on. I'm not trying to sound cheesy about it, but it's just, it is what it is. Like, his life was taken and way too soon, and we've talked about it, and a lot of people are talking about it, but I think it's important to keep living in a way that would reflect the way that he lived and understand why we believe those things, why we want to do that. Because we don't get to take anything with us moving forward in life, and we don't get to leave anything behind other than our kids and the people that we can continue to pass stuff down on to. They maybe not remember who we are in 100, 200 years if the Earth's seen around in that time, but the people that we impact, they're going to carry those different things with them, and they may not remember what we say or what we do, but they're going to remember how it made them feel, and I think that's really important as well. But with that, this is Iron Purpose. Stay sharp, everybody.